What if I told you the smartest financial move you could make right now has nothing to do with finding the next hot stock, and everything to do with a decision you've probably been putting off for years? We're talking about the age-old battle, pay off your debt first, or start investing immediately, and the answer might genuinely surprise you. Every single day, millions of people are paralyzed by this exact question, watching their credit card balances compound at 22%, while the S&P 500 quietly returns 10% annually on average, and doing nothing because they can't decide. That paralysis is costing you more than either choice ever could. Here's the brutal math hiding in plain sight. If you're carrying high interest debt, you are essentially investing at a guaranteed negative return, which means every dollar you throw at the market while ignoring that debt is like filling a bathtub with the drain wide open. No amount of stock picks can outrun a 24% APR working against you around the clock. But here's where it gets nuanced, and this is where most personal finance advice completely falls apart. Not all debt is created equal, and treating a 3% mortgage the same as a maxed out credit card is one of the most common and costly misconceptions out there. We need to stop lumping debt into one scary category and start thinking about it like a spectrum of urgency. Think of it this way. High interest debt is a house fire, and investing while you have a house fire is just rearranging furniture. You deal with the fire first, then you decorate. Now, earlier in the post-pandemic boom, people were feeling flush, stimulus checks hit, asset prices soared, and suddenly everybody was a financial genius who had cracked the code on passive income and early retirement. Then interest rates climbed, credit card balances in America hit over $1 trillion for the first time ever, and that confident energy got very quiet very fast. Psychologically, this is where it gets interesting. Humans are wired to chase the exciting thing, which is why invest now, deal with debt later is such an emotionally seductive idea, especially when you see people on social media flexing their brokerage returns. But the experts who've actually studied wealth accumulation, people like Dave Ramsey on one end and the Bogleheads community on the other, they fundamentally agree that eliminating high interest liability is itself one of the highest yield moves available to any retail investor. History backs this up in cycles that repeat almost embarrassingly on schedule. The 1980s brought crushing interest rates that made debt a financial death sentence. The 2000s brought easy credit that lured people into over-leveraged disaster. And here we are again in the mid-2020s, watching variable rate debt quietly eat people's net worth while they argue about crypto on the internet. Each era feels unique in the moment, but the underlying pattern, borrow cheap, invest, borrow expensive, pay it down, has never really changed. This topic fits perfectly into the broader, totally predictable human cycle of overcorrecting between fear and greed, debt aversion and debt dependency, and the market always exploits whichever extreme we're currently living in. Community wisdom from financial forums, Reddit threads, and longtime investors almost universally lands on the same threshold. If your interest rate is above 6 or 7%, pay it down aggressively before you invest heavily. Let's kill a misconception right now. Paying off debt is not losing investment opportunity. It is locking in a guaranteed return equal to whatever your interest rate is, which in today's environment might be anywhere from 18 to 29% on consumer credit. Show me a consistently legal investment that returns 22% guaranteed, and I'll show you a magic beanstalk. So here's what the data and the disciplined investors actually do. They use a hybrid approach. They capture any employer 401k match first because that's an instant 100% return. Then they attack high interest debt with intensity, and then they expand their investment contributions once the expensive debt is gone. The order of operations matters more than the conviction behind any single financial product or asset class. The practical lesson here isn't sexy, it's process over excitement, consistency over timing, and position size over passion. You don't need to pick the right stock at the right moment. You need to not be hemorrhaging money to a credit card company while you're trying to build. Moderate risk is fine, but only when your financial foundation isn't on fire. Think of investing as building a second floor on your house. Because if the foundation has cracks, that second floor isn't going to stand for long, no matter how beautifully you design it. Get the foundation solid first. Here's the philosophical truth at the center of all of this. Net worth is not built in the moments of peak excitement. It is built in the boring, disciplined, repetitive decisions you make when nobody is watching and nothing feels urgent. Sizing your choices correctly, meaning not going all in on paying debt to the point of zero liquidity and not ignoring debt to chase returns, is the actual skill that separates people who build wealth from people who just talk about it. The beautiful irony is that the answer to should I pay debt or invest first is almost never a dramatic either or. It's a sequenced, rational, unemotional process that anyone can execute, and it just requires you to stop asking which one feels better and start asking which one the math actually supports right now. Comfort with any outcome comes when you've done the preparation, know your numbers, and trust the system rather than the sentiment. Whether markets go up or debt rates go higher, the person who wins is the one with the clearest picture of their liabilities, their assets, and a written plan connecting the two, not the one who guessed right once on a hot tip. Discipline, consistency, and rational sizing will always outlast luck. And if you're ready to take that next step, whether it's real estate investing, home contracting, work, or finding the right lenders to make your financial goals a reality, check out our links in the description below.